The Tampa Bay Buccaneers just got a pleasant surprise, just got the ultimate compliment. You can call it whatever you want. In this video, we are going to talk about two things predominantly. What did Peyton Manning say? What did Peyton Manning say about your starting quarterback that left me really, really impressed with who Baker Mayfield is? And we're going to hear about Baker Mayfield and his thoughts on your new offensive coordinator, Grizz, and we're going to talk about that as well. But man, oh man, Baker Mayfield can be a good interview, can he? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to take a peek behind the curtain and see what that means. But before we get into that, if you are new to this channel, my name's Craig, me and my buddy Chris. This isn't our first channel. We have another one, Sports Talk Detroit. We are Lions fans. We don't hide that, all right? But at the same time, we love the NFL. We love teams that are kind of ignored by the national media, and we feel like Tampa Bay falls into that scope, and we've been covering the Bucs for quite some time now. And so if you want a non-biased opinion of what your team has, maybe like and subscribe, but wait till the end of this video. If you like it, do it. If not, don't worry about it. All right, first, let's talk about an article that I was reading. And it was also Peyton Manning getting interviewed. By the way, the article says that Peyton Manning, one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. Look, he's the GOAT. I don't care what you say. It's not Tom Brady. I think it's Peyton Manning. I understand that I have no solid argument to do that with, but whatever. All right, I think Peyton's the GOAT, but I also love his personality, his opinion, and the way he views the game. And here's what he had to say about your head or your leader, your quarterback. He said what Baker has done, adjusting to the different schemes he's played in. By the way, 8-0 season, 8 years, in case anyone is wondering. All right, he said several play callers in his first few years in Cleveland and went to the Rams and played good after 3 days of practice. And what he's done in Tampa since he's been there, Manning said, obviously another change with Josh Grizzard replacing Liam Cohen as the Bucs OC. Look, if you play well in the NFL at quarterback, oftentimes they'll hire your OC as a head coach. Peyton Manning realizes that this is a problem and this is something that happens. And let me tell you right now, Bucs fans, this is a good problem to have. Like, this is a very good problem to have. Take it from me, a Lions fan. We just lost our OC, we lost our DC, and a handful of other coaches to other teams, and it is a great problem to have. It means we went 15-2. It means that our offense and defense were playing at a high enough level to warrant that. And Baker Mayfield is coming off his best season as a quarterback. Statistically his best season. The Bucs put up numbers at a very high clip. They put up points at a very high clip. So yeah, that's what happens. All right? That's what happens, and it's a good problem. And Peyton Manning acknowledges that as well. He says that's kind of a compliment to the quarterback as well. It's part of it. And you learn to adjust. Baker's a pro. Baker can speak all those different languages. It's easy for him to adjust, but it's not. It doesn't make it easy. It's impressive what he does. And it tells you a lot about him and his ability to adjust and improvise. He's been fun to watch these past couple years in Tampa. Now, he's talking about this, and I love this because he's even on the other side, on the Pro Bowl. But one thing the Pro Bowl does give us, it might not give us good football. It really never has, because you can't get guys hurt in that game, but it gives us a lot of interviews. It gives us people when they're kind of raw. They have that emotion after a season, and when you look at it, you see that with Baker in the next one. All right, you see that in the next one. And he talked about this, all right, when he talked about how he found out about Liam Cohen leaving. And he said, I left him on read just like he left me on read for a little bit. I made him beg. He said this with a grin on his face. Love that edge. Love that edge in Baker Mayfield. That's what it is. All right? And then he said, obviously, people have their thoughts on how it went down. And I understand the emotional aspect of it. But I'm happy for Liam. We all had a few choice words for him before we actually told him we were happy for him. I can't be mad at that, as much as I would want him or want to have him still here. All right, something you might not want to hear as Bucs fans, right? Like, if they still want him here, if they are happy for him eventually, they realize that it was probably the best choice for him. But we don't care about that. All right. And the Bucs organization's not happy. I think it's a hilarious rivalry between you and the Jags that has all of a sudden formed, even though you play once in 4 years. I think this is great. I think it's hilarious that your organization's blocking them from interview requests and all that kind of stuff. All right. But you had to move on. And last year's passing game coordinator, Josh Grizzard, though he also is a first-time coordinator, he ran the team's third down offense. I talked about this in a different video. All right, and Baker had a couple of really good things to say about this. Let's hear it, all right? He said, for me it was, how can we make it somewhat that continuity is safe with the guys, said Mayfield. He was involved in this year's search, by the way. He said, how can we make sure we're actually taking a step forward and not a step back, having to restart again? Every season's different, but having the continuity within the same system, keeping a lot of the same pieces is really, really important. He went on to talk about OTAs, and he went on to talk about you're not installing brand new plays, all right? Yes, it's good. They had a lot of young guys step up for them this year. You don't want to start over again. I think about guys like McMillan at wide receiver. I think about guys like McMillan. I think about guys like Bucky Irving. I think about these guys who are young players that stepped up, but also they got better and better and better, especially McMillan. Like if you look at him in the beginning of the year, and then you look at him again at the end of the year, it was like two entirely different wide receivers. You don't want to start that process over again for guys like that. You think about it with Baker. Baker can handle it. Baker's been there 8 times before, but they haven't. So when you have that same type of stuff that's going in, it's extremely helpful to be able to just keep that continuity and move on. For a guy like McMillan to be able to just continue right on where he was at the end of last year, which is perfect, and it might allow you, like Godwin, you might not need to re-sign him. I know you might want to, but you might not have to at a $20 million plus price tag because McMillan can step in and fill in his shoes and you can have a good offense without him and you can spend that money elsewhere. Like those are the kind of things that you get. All right. And here's the last thing Baker said about him. He said, that's everybody getting on the same page. And Grizz was our third down guy. And he was a huge part of those installations and what we were trying to do on third downs. That's why I'm excited. He's a guy that didn't get a lot of credit behind the scenes last year, and he'll be at the forefront of it this year. Love when people talk about, hey, he's not getting credit behind the scenes, meaning he's doing a lot. And this is coming from a guy who threw for a career-high 4,500 yards. All right? Third in the league. This is a guy that was absolute balling out last year. You want to keep that continuity. Really excited to see what this iteration, the third iteration of the Bucs offense is with Baker at the helm. Things are exciting. All right, see you on the next one.